Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. Okay, today I'm gonna start taking my time to explain what Python language is all about. I'm gonna start from the basics, the foundation, like the very simple print hello world, to a web application advanced concept using Flask and Django to actually build something good. If you're following the video gradually, you're gonna understand no matter how novice you are, if you like don't have any foundation in programming, this video is going to take you bit by bit from your foundation level to an advanced level where you're going to start enjoying and appreciating the effectiveness of writing codes and programs. All right. So why Python? Python is actually a simple programming language that has a very simple syntax, and it's user friendly. It's something that you can easily understand its concept and then write your program very effectively, unlike something like assembly language or C, that it's a bit technical. But I'm not saying it's too hard, but it's technical for you to be able to understand that language. But I'm not really really seeing different actually. It's just syntax different, but basically Python syntax is more simple and easy to understand compared to any other programming languages. All right. So I'm going to take this programs or this very training in batch. I'm going to start from the basics, like I said, what programming language is all about, why Python language, the code snippet that differentiates them, and then we progressively move further to something like variable declarations and data types, typecasting, and all that. Then we move progressively to loops, functions, OOPs, SQL chemies, and how to interact with database, and a lot of things are going to cover in this very section of the video. Just take your time and follow me up as you're going gradually. So why Python in exactly? Python language is a high-level, multi-purpose, open source language used in almost every facet of programming. That's to say that you can use Python language for something like data science. You can use for big data. You can use for web development. You can use for gaming. You can use for ethical hacking. You can use for so many things, right? And the good part of it is that it has a simple syntax. It has is flexible. It has a robust library and so much more that I can't just mention right here. But I'm telling you, you're gonna enjoy Python as we wrap up. Okay. So people have been asking this question: why Python? You go here, Python, Python. Why do people do prefer Python? Now let's take three languages and compare them using some codes. Snipe it. This is C language, right? And my core foundation, what I want to do is to print hello world. Now, notice here that for you to print hello world in C language, you need about one, two, three, 4 lines, though this can be clustered to 3 lines or thereabouts. But if you want to write it one after the other, you need 4 lines of code to actually print out hello world. That's much. That's a lower. But in Python, you need just one single line of code. Just print hello world. That's fine. All right. So you can see the differences between Python and C language in terms of syntax and its complexity. Now, that's just about C. Let's look at something like assembly language. Assembly is even the worst. It is even more worse than C because you need like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, to about 13 lines of code to actually print an assembly language um, hello world. That's studios, right? So we need to appreciate Python because it's just 1 line. You can do a whole lot of thing, right? And that's just about the introductory part of it. So let's actually dive into coding and then see how this actually play out. I'm gonna try to write the C language and the Python. Let's see the differences amongst these two. I'm basically gonna use VS Code to write this program. So I had my VS Code here ready, but let me just take this off for now, and let me take this off. All right. Okay. Let's start afresh. So let me delete these out of here. Okay, so this is my VS Code, and let me create a file for which one for C language. So hello.c. Okay. Now, for you to actually create a file or write hello world, print hello world to the screen with C language, you need four lines, like I said earlier. The first thing is to call the preprocessor directive, which is at include. Then you pass the library that you want to call stdio.h. That's for the standard input output header file. And then integer main, open curly braces, then print f function um, hello world. You must terminate as well. Then when you're done, you got to return 0. Okay. These are the lines of code you actually need to print hello world in C. So, okay. So here you can see hello world is it's printed right here. And we need like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of code, or basically 4 lines of code. But let's try that using Python as well. So Python here, I'm gonna pass in the same thing, hello.py extension. All you need is just a print statement, and then you pass in the hello world. So if I run this, I'm still having the same thing, hello world, hello world. But you realize that in C language, you need about 5 lines, and in this other Python, we need just 1 line. That is the beauty of Python. So let's start to have some deep dive into Python, basically the print statement for now. And in my next module, we're going to start talking about variables, talking about data types, talking about typecasting and other functionalities like that. But let's have a basic clue of what print statements can do at a basic level with Python. Basically, I'm not going to be using VS Code to run this. I'm going to be using PyCharm, which is more robust in terms of running Python scripts than the VS Code itself. So I'm going to switch over to my PyCharm. If you have VS Code, you're free to use that. If you don't have PyCharm, it's fine. It's still going to have its same output. But I prefer using PyCharm when I'm running Python scripts. All right. Okay, so this is PyCharm, and you can see we have almost the same interface with VS Code. And if I run this code here, we're still going to have that result right here. The difference and why I really like PyCharm is that if I have to, let's say, print another thing here, and let's say I print hi, something like that, and I run this code, it's gonna clear the terminal and then rewrite those code again. But if you're using VS Code, it's gonna pile up your codes, like the results is gonna be piled up, and you're gonna have multiple results on the screen instead of having just a cleared and repeated screen. Hence, I love this very console when I'm writing Python scripts. Okay, so let's all right. Okay, so let's take off these. We don't need that for now. Now we have hello world, right? And we realize that hello world is quoted with it's printed with some quotes right here. There's it's quoted around quotes. Okay. Now, what if I actually take off these quotes? Now you can see that it has already flagged a red line telling us that there's an error. And if you try to run this, you're going to have some syntax error, invalid syntax. Perhaps you forgot a comma or something. It's just trying to give you an idea of that code. But if I put a comma, it doesn't really make any sense. No, if I put a comma, it's obvious that I didn't miss a comma. So it's not having an effect on my code. Now, this is because each time you remove a quote from a supposed string, it's gonna see that very value, this hello world, as a variable name. When you get to that stage, you really understand what I'm saying, what I'm talking about when I say variable names, right? So at this stage, anytime you want to print something, you must put it in quotes, all right? If it is an alphabetical character or a symbol, let's say I want to print something like at this symbol, I can't pass like this. It's gonna give me an error, right? Except I put it in quotes like this. And if I should run this code now, I'm gonna have at, right? That's printed, okay? So each time you want to print anything that is not numeric using the print statement, you must put it in quotes. The quotes can be single quotes, just like this, It's fine like that. And it can be double quotes, all right? It can be something like this, double quotes. It's fine like that as well, all right? But if you want to print a number, let's say 1, 2, 500, 3, like that, let's say I want to print 400, you don't need to put it in quotes. If I run this, I'm still going to have the 400. You don't need to put it in quotes if it's a number. But what if I actually put it in quotes, all right? Something like this, 400, and then run this program. I'm still going to have 400, right? That's fine. But we human, from our own pace, we are seeing this as 400 like a number. But the computer memory, the computer itself, the compiler, is not seeing this 400 as a number, but rather as a string. Remember that this 4, it's different from 4 when it comes to computer. It's different from 4. This is a number, this is integer, this is a numeric data type, and this is a string data type. So they're two different things. Even when you confirm this with ASCII, I'm going to talk about that later. But ASCII is just a translation of your normal English character to computer understandable character, which is zeros and ones. Now, let me just give you an insight of what I'm trying to say. If I say something like print bin and don't worry about what I'm writing for now, ord, and I pass something like a, let's see what we have on the screen. Now, you can see we have, forget about the first 0 and b, we have 11000001. So that's what a actually means in a program, or yeah, in terms of your computer system. If I should pass something like let's say 2, notice I'm having 110010, right? That's what I have as 2 in your computer system. That's what computer understand as string of 2, 110010. So let's pass ordinary 2, like a number 2, and let's see to that. I'm going to remove this because the odd is only for characters, not number. Taking this off. So if I remove this right here and run, now you see that 2 actually means 10 in terms of binary value. If you convert that to ASCII, it's going to be like 01000010, like that. So 2 is not the same value as string 2. Putting it with a string like this is not the same thing in terms of computer system. It doesn't understand it the same. So there are two different things when you're writing. You're printing 2 and you're printing 2 in quotes. When we get better deeper, we're going to work on ASCII. Then you see how it's interpreted and how it works um, critically, how it works properly. All right. Okay. So now there are some tricks that you can use with the print statement in the Python programs. Um, let's start with the need for this single quote and double quote. Why do we need it? Okay, now let's take for instance that I want to print, let's say I want to print something like this, hello. The hello should be in quotes, all right? So if I write something like this, hello, and then run this code, you realize that those quotations is out of the printing, is out of the console. So what if I want to actually print it with these quotations? Maybe I want to pass a quotation like this. You would realize that on trying to do this, your program flags error because you can't actually pass two double quotes on both sides. But what you can actually do here is to pass a single quote in the beginning and a single quote at the end as well. Now, with this now, it will print the hello with the two quotes inside. All right. So if I run this code, I'm going to have hello with the quotes surrounding it. And if I want to print with a single quote, I reverse the order. So the double quote comes first and the single quote comes inside. Or if I still want to use just a single quote, I don't want to use a double quote, I want to use everything to be single, then I'm going to use something called escape sequence. Let's say I want to print something like this and I want to use single quote in here. If you try that, it's going to give you error. But if you use backslash before that colon, it's trying to tell the compiler that, okay, even though this is supposed to mean string, but since I've introduced this slash, use it as a literal quote. Don't use it as a string. So if I run this code, I'm gonna have the hello with that um, that colon because I've escaped its true meaning. That's the meaning of that. The same thing is applicable for the double quote. If everything is double quote, you can escape it using the escape sequence like that. And another thing we can use that to do is to implement a new line. Let's say after this hell, I want to break it the low to the next line. So I'm gonna just gonna pass slash n here. This means after the L, the LO should come to the next line. So running this, we have hell and we have LO on the next line, right? Another one that we can make use of is a slash T. Slash T means tab. So in between the L and the next L, let there be a space. So on running this, you can see what we have. It does a tab. That's four white space characters. Okay. And then it's useful. Let's say you want to print something like hello, how are you? So instead of doing something like this, let's say hello. The next one I print and I said how. Let's say the next one I print um are you, and then run. Yeah, fine, it's giving me a hello, how are you? But instead of doing these separate lines, I can use one single line to do that. So I'm going to print hello. After that, I'm going to pass slash n to take it to the next line, and I'm passing how. After that, I'm going to pass another slash n for the next line. How are you? Right, just like that. Then we end it with the same quote, single quote, and then close the bracket. Now with that, if I run the code, I'm still going to have the same output. You can see how are you. So that's the work of slash n instead of writing on different lines and all that. Okay. Now, take for instance again, I want to print something like this. Let's say I want to print something like um um this let's say is okay. Let me put them in quotes. Sorry, I want to print something like this. This the next line I'm gonna have two is Python. All right, and then one, two, three language. All right, one, two, three. This is a comment, so don't worry about that. It's not going to be interpreted. I'm going to talk about that later. So I want to print something like that. This is Python language. How am I going to do that? Just one single print statement. Instead of writing multiple statements, these and all that and all those stories, I can use one print line to accomplish that. So I'm going to say print. Now, since everything here is in double quotes, I don't want to contradict my work. I'm going to pass a single quote outside here. All right. And then pass a double quote inside and print this and then slash n to take me to the next line. I pass double here is Python slash n again for the next line, and then I'm gonna pass 1, 2, 3 language 1, 2, 3. All right. So this will print exactly what I'm seeing here. If I run this code, you can see this is Python with their quotations as I intend them to be. I think that is very clear. Okay. The next thing you can do with this print statement is you can actually use print statement as calculator. Um, Something like this. I want to add, let's say 2 plus 2. I can simply write print in bracket 2 and then plus 2. And if I run the program, it's going to give me 4. Or I want to write a floating point number. I can have 2.45 plus 2.56. If I run, it's going to give me 5.01. Or just you can do any calculation right here. I want to divide. The same thing is applicable. You can do this, it will divide. You want to subtract, use your minus. Anything you want to do, you can do that. You can perform multiple evaluations. Let's say I want to add, subtract, and multiply. I can say 2 times 4 plus 5 divided by 6 and then run the code. I'll still have my answer, right? So this is just like using calculator. You can do that with Python. And another thing you can actually work with print is that you can replicate strings. What does that mean? For instance, I want to print hello for like 5 times. I can simply pass hello here, and then I'm going to multiply this by 5. Notice that my asterisk is not inside the bracket or the quote. If your asterisk is inside the quote, all right, and you put like 5 here, it's gonna give you error, right? Because this asterisk becomes a string, it's not replicative sign or symbol. So it has to be outside like that. So on running this code, I'm gonna have hello printed for 5 times. All right. Now think about it. What if I want to print hello in a vertical line, not horizontal? I don't know if that's horizontal or vertical line. Sometimes I'm confused with that, but just figure it out and help me write on the comment section. All right. So what if I want to print it on a straight line, right? Like straight line. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass slash NAY. Each time you print hello, before you go back again, ensure that you take me to the next line. That's what it means. So it will print hello, the cursor will take you to the next line, and then go back, repeat the same process until it's 5 times. So if I run this code, it's gonna print hello downward. It prints hello, 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 like this straight line instead of the other axis, like the y-axis instead of the x-axis, right? So that's it. And you can also add two characters or add two strings together. Example, let's say that I have something like I want to say hello, hi, but I don't want it to be in the same string, like something like this. Print, I have hello, hi, but I don't want to print it in one closure. I want to print it differently. I can have hello, and then I add a plus sign. Plus means add two strings together. So I have here hi. If I run this, it's going to look as if I'm writing hello, hi, the same string. That's concatenations. We're going to talk about that deeply when we go into the next module. I'm just trying to give you a preamble and a walkthrough so you can maybe start to appreciate Python and appreciate what is going to come up later. Okay, so the next thing is, let's say I have something like this, print 2, and then I have here plus 2. What do you think that will give us? And I also have something like print 2 and plus 2. Now this is actually a string, it's not a number. So it's gonna concatenate them together, like join the two things together, and the result is gonna be 22, like 2 2. In your own part, you're gonna think it's 22, but it's not 22 actually, it's a string. So let's assume it's 22 now, and this other one is give us 4 because we're actually adding two numbers together. So on the running this code, you can see we have 22. That's because 2 is concatenated, is added to 2, which is a string, and then that's joining them together is going to be 2 2, which is 22 assumption. But because this is actually a number, it's going to invoke the arithmetical calculation of plus. So that will bring them together and then add 2 to 2, it becomes 4. That's a clear difference. Okay. All right. What if we have something like print, let's say hello, and we have something like asterisk, hi? Could that work? No. You cannot replicate a string by a string. No. This asterisk is strictly used when you want to rewrite the particular string for more than one time. Like I explained, you want to write hello for 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. That is when you use asterisk. But if you want to use asterisk for two strings, no, that's not going to work. Now, take for instance, I want to print, let's say, a letter, like let's say, let's print letter H, okay? And then I want to print, H is like this. This is H, right? This is H. So I want to print it using asterisk to do that. Now I'm gonna have something like this: print asterisk, and then let's keep 2 or 3 space asterisk, right? And now I want this asterisk to have to be duplicated in three places before the cross section. So what I'm going to do is to put slash n here and then duplicate it into three places. All right. So on running this, I'm going to have HH like a kind of straight line, three asterisks. So at this last point, this third time, I want it to be completely written. So let me change it to 2 and then print it again. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it's 5 times. All right. So let's try that and see what happens. Um, what's happening? Okay. There is something I would love to add here, but you may not understand. I will try to explain that. Okay, let's run that again. Okay, nice. Now, what happened is that the print statement comes with a new line itself. So each time you run, let's say for instance, I have something like this print, and I have hi, all right, and at the end of it, I print again. I have hello. Okay, notice that I have not used this slash n here, right? But if I run this code, this hello automatically comes to a next line. Okay, that's because when once a print statement is complete, and once it executes, the next statement will be taken to a next line. All right. So look at your line one. You print asterisk, asterisk again, and you have a slash n. What is that's a new line. Now times two, it print the first time, asterisk asterisk for the first time. Now asterisk asterisk for the second time, and it prints a new line again. So when you now call this print statement, it's going to add that print statement after the next line which has been invoked. So to avoid this, I use end. That means that after the end of this printing, don't give me any new line. All right. So that the next step, the print statement is supposed to be joined here, but it's just it invokes only this new line, and the print statement new line is ignored. All right. Let me try to break that down further. If I add after this high, if I add n here and I pass opened empty, on running this, you can see that I have hi hello. The print statement new line is automatically ignored. So this hello hello will now be taken to the fourth line and it'll be joined together as if it is one line. All right. Now, in this sense, I am ignoring that new line for the print statement, only allowing this new line in this very first one to take effect. That's what I'm trying to do here. Okay. So after that, you will simply rerun this. Just copy this here and paste it right here. I can choose to remove this if I want to. So if I run this, I have H written right here. So that's how to print that shape. Instead of printing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, I can use 3 lines to do the same thing. Or I can even use one print statement to do the same thing. It depends on you and how you understand how to manipulate your print statement and all that. Okay, I'll talk about this end later on in the program, but for now, that's what end it's basically used for. Okay, and what else? I think that should be all for this module. Just about introduction, just about the print statements. In my next module, we're going to talk about variables, talk about typecasting, talk about types, talk about concatenations properly, and then see how to do some little mathematical operations and some kind of let's say operations like Pythagoras theorem, quadratic expressions, how to solve some mathematical concepts like that at the basic level, right? Thank you for having me. If you have any question, you can drop it on the comment section. And if you want have anything you want me to really dive into in this respect or this regard, you can drop your comment. I will get across to you. All right. For now, have a lovely day. See you in module 2. Bye bye. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. I'm gonna drop a link here just on the comment section. I'm gonna drop a link on the description section. Click on that link. It's gonna take you to my OneDrive where you have the model one assignment. It's for your interest. If you look at it and then try to implement the task that is found there, if you can do that, then you realize that you've been able to manipulate your print statement properly. And then the next session, the next module, you're gonna have same thing. Each module that comes up, we're gonna be having some things to try so you can see how to put yourself grounded in Python. All the same, thank you for having me right here. I remain your humble host, Engine Tech. Bye.